All right, this is page 6 in your lesson 8 portion of your packet. And this is example 2, Andrea's portraits. So it says Andrea is a street artist in New Orleans. She draws caricatures. Caricatures are those cartoon-like portraits of tourists. Sometimes you see them like at Cedar Point or at different fairs or festivals. And you can stop and get your picture taken. Usually it's pretty instantaneous. They do it really fast, but this one, people have their portrait drawn and they come back later to pick it up from her. So the graph below shows the relationship between the number of portraits she draws and the amount of time. So it's like the number of portraits and the time in hours. You can see that in the graph. So the time spent drawing the portraits is right there, and the number of portraits she draws are right there. So think of that as like this is the amount of time, so she changes the amount of time, it changes the amount of portraits that she's drawing. In looking at the graph, and I know it's kind of hard, try to zoom in here a little bit so you can see, it's not great zooming, there are some particular places that are known as what we call friendly points. And friendly points would be things like 2, 3. And if you remember the first number, sorry, I'm trying to get this zoomed, but you can't see everything if I zoom it. This would be your x and this is your y. So 2, 3 would be 2 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis. And boy, talk about fun when you're trying to do this through a phone. So right here is what we call a friendly point. The reason it's a friendly point is you get this line to follow right here and this line to follow right here. And another one is 4, 6 is another friendly point because you can follow the 4 up there to the line and the 6 over, and there's a point that falls right on that line at the intersection of two places that actually have lines to follow. So it says, what's another friendly point that we could use? It wouldn't be something like, right here, because there's a lot of estimation that has to go into. You have to kind of guesstimate. So another place would be anywhere, I'm trying to get the light good here too, anywhere where you're going to have, sorry, the two places crossing. Let's see here. So this would be a good place. So you've got the 6, 9. So 6, 9 would be another friendly point that we can use. And I'm going to bring this back up now. I need some better high-tech phone holding equipment here. So letter A says to write several ordered pairs from the graph. And ordered pairs are these things right here that we just used. So we're going to use those same things. And explain what each ordered pair means in the context of this graph. So it means what does that ordered pair have to do with this problem? So we're just going to use these same ordered pairs, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 6, 9. So the first one, 2, 3, that was this point right here. If you follow it down, it hits the 2 on the time spent drawing pictures. So 2 is like, it didn't tell us whether that was hours. Oh, it does say time and hours. So these are hours. And then the 3, if you follow that over, that's the number of portraits. So you would just have some type of written description that would explain where that's coming from. So it takes 2 hours to do 3 portraits, is one way that you could say this. Same thing for the next one, 4, 6. 4, 6 is this point right here. And if I follow it over here to this side first, I can say, well, the 6 is the number of portraits. So we could say 6 portraits take So you follow it over here and then follow it down to the 4 on the hours. So 6 portraits take 4 hours to complete. Just kind of changing it around a bit just so you can see the variety of things that could be said. And then the last one here, 6, 9, that would be right here, 6, which is on the hours, and 9 is on the portraits. So we could say something like, in 6 hours, she does 9 portraits.